room. Touching him, I'm very concerned for him. He had a very, a spine that was quite stiff. Also, with the way the flat head was developing, it wasn't just a flat head. It flattened and had it was a high placement.
Right.
So one of the things that you look for in a baby, which is quite nice, and again, this is not something you would necessarily look for the newborn because of the soft head, all that kind of stuff. But just as the pelvis should bop up, so should the head. So when they have that triangulation, I can do this with the baby here, where it's almost back like that.
Yeah.
It creates a real top-heavy spot in the back, in the head. So sitting up for him is going to be very difficult if it's, if let's say if I was doing more PT work, I would be doing actually working with that counter pivot to get that head to feel where the spine can do more of that weight transfer. Because otherwise, just that first movement, he's going to go down. And all of this, you can try it. If you're looking back where your eyes are past the horizon, it's physically impossible to sit up. It doesn't matter if you're special or not. Yes, if you're like that, you cannot sit up. So that's why.
Say that again.
So if I'm lying on my back like this, if my eyes are on the horizon point, then I can float and come to sitting. My eyes go right past that horizon point, like here, there's no way I can sit and come to sitting. I would physically have to then bring my eyes around, but again, that's a head lift. That's something a baby doesn't have. They don't lift their heads. And so what will happen to this child, because he's smart most likely, if he doesn't get sitting, if he doesn't get enough intervention, I did what I could in that half hour, he'll roll to his belly and then come to sitting through his belly versus coming up through his spine.
When he was looking over his head at first, I didn't notice it later, but he was arching back.
Right.
So the eyes and then the arch comes.
Yeah, it's a combination. Now, on top of that too, he's compromised. He's wearing non-disposable diapers.
She asked me if that was all right.
It's just gonna, again, typically it should be okay, but for him it's a lot of bulk. But that showed up in just the weight of his body and the movement. So that's why he looks so bulky in the
I
pelvic.
couldn't figure that out in the beginning, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It didn't even.
So that's why.
So babies in the NICU, just the weight of the diapers can be too much. Like if you're dealing with an 875, that's why a lot of them, they don't even get the diapers because it'll affect pelvic movement.
So the disposable diapers are
More agile. If they're bulkier, because you have that, and then you have the cover, and then you have the cloth diapers, and that.
oh, so you're saying disposable are better?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Especially when you're already
I thought you were saying the
compromised.
other thing, and then
No. Especially when you're compromised.
Yes.
So why did you say they did it?
Because they're less heavy than the.
They're less heavy, and they're more agile.
Less restricted.
It was eerie seeing him lift that head
Yeah.
at this age.
Yeah. Is it starting to make a bit more sense just seeing just the baby just play? I know I'm fast, like I said. I apologize ahead of time. I really can't go like, ooh, I'd be working on this. So, but that's where we're at.
So just to re-comment, you were saying like when you first laid down, he lifted in that lift.
Right.
Which is what you were saying is not,
But this
What
was
you want.
happening. His feet were
like,
like
so he was
here.
like lifting.
No, he wasn't. He was like lifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's, I just think it's good to
That was
talk a little bit more.
No,
And we're
yeah.
saying that that's not what we want to see.
typical.
Not
What we
at all.
want to see is a lift with translation of movements.
First of all, when you have a lift, you're going to lift here and here. I didn't see any kind of elbow placement whatsoever on his back.
He was doing it
Yeah.
with just his neck.
Yes.
It's almost like there was a string right here
Yeah.
and he was trying to lift through here. So yeah, if the baby's looking at me, hi sweetheart, see, and the weight transfers happens through their elbows and comes up.
Thank you.
The only time that you see me work, here I'll do it this way too so you can see it. The only time you see me work with, now if a child has nystagmus, what I'll do is I'll bring the baby up to sitting this way. Let's say, because if they're visually impaired, non-binocular vision, meaning both eyes don't work, anything like that, strabismus, bringing them up through the side literally could be like a roller coaster. You're like, whoa! And I want, oh, hi. You know what I mean? hi Lisa, and if they got that visual cue, and then I'll start working with them, but I want the vision first. To bring them up here and they're literally, the nystagmus is really going, let's say the strabismus or the eye weaken shows up, that's not a successful, where the child's gonna put off vision because it could almost be nauseous to them. So, but a typical child, again, even you see Madison, my doll here, the head placement means the eyes go just hint forward of that horizon, that vertical or the perpendicular line that you're seeing from the table and up. If I were to do, you know what I mean? So you'll see this. So this child was here, right? Versus here. So this, so they come up and they want to come here. They come over on the elbows. That is typical. And
That's
what
interesting. I really want to ask you about that. So that is what the baby does.
sternum
When
moves to the
kids are
side.
older and they have low muscle tone, they cannot do this and they take it there, which is wrong.
But if they do have low muscle tone, if you come in and work with those balance points, they can do stuff they shouldn't physically be able to do. So you're teasing the system, but that's where you'll see a low tone baby or a high tone issues. Then they'll somehow get on their belly. Now a low tone baby will feel like they're drowning. There'll be no protective responses whatsoever, and they'll start crying. And when they cry, they go into an inflection, so the head will go even more so that they'll put their head into the because they're crying and go into inflection. Because when a child cries, they come in. You know, sometimes they'll do the head toss back, but it's more so. A typical child, when they roll over, the head will naturally come up, kind of thing, like that, and then there'll be more here. And that's what I was talking about, how I was starting to see that the left side was doing a bit more, but the right side was like this. First, I wasn't seeing him bear weight to come over to do that transfer.
I noticed when they first came in,
Oh, she's locked out.
his arm was kind of like, his arm was kind of like in an odd
Yeah.
thing going there.
But even when he was working the room, he was sort of like this kind of thing. At the end, he was doing a bit more where he can twist over the mom. Was I okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
good. That was good. She was
Okay.
just really interested, like, what do
Okay.
I do now?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So you know when you're talking about lifting the head, and so what happens? Like, what would you do if when you're working on that or you're evaluating that or whatever, and then it's kind of like they come up and they're doing okay, and then they just push back with their shoulders.
Right. But I have you all on the tables where I'm going to be breaking this up, you know, depending on where we are with the babies. But yeah, I'll be showing you specifically. And I'm going to try and work on everybody. But what I would like to do is, I like to field questions. So if you like that's what I'll work on with you to show everybody and go from there if that's okay.
Yeah.
So whatever is your interest, then let me work on that and we can work around it. Just keep on me because I can, you know, I can talk and work on people. So don't be like, I don't want you to be like, she said she'd work on me and I didn't get worked on. So even if I have to work with you at lunchtime, I'll do it. But just keep me honest.
What would you say, would you have concern that he's going to have a hard time crawling? You said definitely walking, yes.
Yeah. I didn't get as far as I could. You saw me again. You'll see it on the video where, okay, sorry, I can't get her head to go up. But what I was doing here was just a little bit of this because you'll see if the tone kicks in and they want to go straight with her, but gravity should take over. So even if like my doll, see, gravity doesn't really take over. A typical child will actually start being where they're looking for the floor. You know, like Superman's not a good thing per se. People are like, look at my kid, they can do it. I'm like, yeah. So even where I was staying with patterning, because I figured you guys would get that clue. There was no way on the right side I was getting that pelvic tilt where the knee was coming in. So if I don't get this, then I'm not going to get where the knee comes over then to bear weight. So I got a lot more out of the left, but the right was still, and also that side sit, I still wasn't showing up with the knee placement. Those are the things that I was trying to work on and use my pig Latin with you guys. But
And so then if intervention isn't, if he doesn't have intervention, he'll start to just develop some compensatory, like he'll be one of these strange, like kind of a strange crawler with one, like probably like the extent of that.
Well, okay, when that happens, I don't have the vision. So, and they don't want to go into a wall. So what they'll do is they'll club crawl. See, if I'm here and I can't bring my head up, I can't arch my back properly, I do this and it brings my head up. So that's where you'll see the club crawl, or he might be more of a scooter, butt scooting kind of thing. But he's smart, so he'll roll on his belly and he'll force it up and he'll get into sitting. But once he gets into sitting now, everything's gonna be lost. What he was sitting for, he's just worked so hard in sitting. They're like, come on, pay attention. And it's like, you have no idea, again, in baby stage. He'll figure it out later. But, you know, again, I'm not worried about autism,
Right.
but he's the type of child, because again, he's cute, he's social, he's not gonna get early intervention, let's say at a 6 to 8 month level. It's when, more so with him, if his speech for some reason doesn't kick in, that he might start getting referral at around the 15 to 18 month stage. No, I'm just saying how the world works.
Right.
But again, you saw it. If you can just get to them when they're little buggers, I mean, my gosh, you know, it's so much easier than trying to
Totally
get.
makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, even with all the reflexes, I mean, this is really goes all over that.
Yeah.
It supports it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he hasn't got TLR figured out because he was C-section. All C-section babies, TLR is messed up because it
Right.
gets switched on with birth.
Right.
So that's already one reflex that's not there.
Yeah.
And then, well,
I was just gonna, she said that the doctor asked if he's rolling over, and she said yes, but not consistently. And she said, well, the doctor actually asked, is he leaning with his head or his hips? She's like, but I didn't know what to do. So I was like, okay, well, maybe there's somebody who's a little clued in, but didn't tell her what to do with that.
Right.
But
But
she
he's
said-
probably saying that because of the flat head.
right.
Yeah.
Whether it's, she said that so she's a elementary math teacher, and so she just went back to school this week. So he's just started daycare. We went in, and he's bigger than the others, but they're like starting to pull up. She's like, and then her husband is an anesthesiologist, very, very head smart guy, and well, he's not doing this or she's doing this, and he's as big as those kids, and then so she's like got this. What do we need to do? So she's really wanting to find something. She's just scared and getting lots of advice from all different.
Well, you guys need to work with him. He is going to go into pretty decent developmental delays, but it's going to be, I think, more physical with him because I think he really is very smart. He worked the room. He knew where people were and where they weren't. He went back. So, and when people moved around, he caught. I mean, he was a smart little bugger, but he was really he's stiff and the counter.
He's been, I went to visit him when he was just a few days old, and I held him for the first time, and I called Mom on the way home. I'm like, I didn't know I couldn't hold him. He didn't meld into me.
Yeah.
He just, I'm like, I have a kid, and I was afraid I was going to drop him. So, you know, every time when she comes to Bible study nights and she brings him, like, we're bouncing and try to do it a little bit and hold him, but I don't see him consistently enough to.
And the bouncing with him would be hard because of the head positioning. Because of, again.
But I was just real gently, you know.
No.
rocking him
But
there.
I'm just saying though, that is but with when you have the flat head, but especially where he's at, do you know what I mean? Like the bouncing is going to create more
tension and.
the head lag versus again that nice counterbalance.
What
that
I
you
mean,
have.
just, you know, how you naturally start to jostle,
Right.
but after you work with him, that's the most I've ever felt, just that.
But I'm not saying you're putting him on a theraball, but I mean,
Right, no,
yeah.
but he came into me more than I've ever felt him
Yeah.
just after that. Just,
Yeah.
he actually moved with your body for the first time that I've held him.
And that's a great example of like how this affects like that body awareness and the way they're able to take in the body awareness and use the body awareness. Like